Hi, it's Megan. So when I first saw the MAC Maleficent makeup collection, I wasn't very interested. But I was interested in the movie because I grew up loving princesses. So if there's a new rendition of a princess story to tell, I would love to see it. So yeah, I do look a little odd. That's because I'm going to show you how to do the Maleficent makeup. So let's get from there to here. I went to see Maleficent last night and I'd read mixed reviews about the MAC products, but these are the actual products that were used on Angelina Jolie in the movie. And when I saw her makeup, particularly the lipstick, I was blown away. It was so beautiful. This is not makeup that taken together you're going to wear every day, because she's a villain in the movie. And I've made it a little darker here on the video. I did one eye already since it takes a while to do the eyes, and I wanted to have a complete look at the end. I did a little bit darker by adding an eyeshadow primer, just because I want people to see it. But in the real world, if I weren't doing it for the camera, I actually wouldn't use an eyeshadow primer with these shadows. I'd have it a little bit lighter, because I played around with it both ways, but I think on camera it'll show better this way. But this is the MAC Maleficent makeup. Most of the stuff I'm using is actual MAC products. I ran to the store today. I was just so curious to find out more, and I did some searches online to get some information. So first of all, the cheekbones. I'm going to go through that in a second. She has implants, which is kind of gross in a way, but it looks so great in the movie. And so we will never be able to get those cheekbones, let alone Angelina Jolie has cheekbones like most of us can't get anyway. But I will do my best to approximate it using the products that MAC used, and it was very much a possible look. So we're going to start with that. And then the other thing I'm going to say is, well, there are two other things I'm going to say. First of all, in the beginning of the movie, she's using the same colors, but they're softer. And so if you want me to do a tutorial on that as well, let me know and I will do it. It's just the same stuff, a lot less black. The next thing I'm going to say is that the one thing to be really careful about is not to use too much black. And I kind of feel like this time I did. So on this eye, I'm going to use a little less black, and we can compare them and see what we think. Let me straighten this a little. And the last thing is, I think all these products are so beautiful. But like I said, they haven't created a look that most of us are going to be able to wear on a day-to-day basis. For Halloween, it's great. But the products themselves used separately, like this is a beautiful smoky eye, which you could use with a softer, you could actually use it with the cheeks and then just a softer lip, maybe not red. And the palette softened is beautiful with red lips. It's amazing. And by not using a blush, just using kind of highlighters and kind of a contouring shade on the cheeks, you don't kind of overdo it with the really vivid red lips. And then on this one I didn't put false eyelash yet, but I will at the end. So what do we do? First of all, and then the last thing is, Angelina Jolie is paler probably than many or most of us, and I found that I couldn't use the contour that they had there. It was too light, and it was the actual one they used on her in the movie. I wasn't thrilled with the powder, so I used a translucent powder, but I used a Guerlain translucent powder, which I just basically pat it all over my face like this. And then I used a slightly lighter foundation than I normally would use to get kind of a paler look. But if you're wearing this in the real world, you're gonna have to make sure that if you're trying to get that pale vampire-ish look, that's what they said at the MAC store, she looks like a vampire. She does, but a very pretty one. Then you're gonna have to make sure that you do kind of all the makeup on your chest, your chin, you know, all over. I'm actually gonna take this off after because I have to go out, and I don't really want to go out looking like a superhero, action hero, whatever. So that's the other thing. She is not a real character, right? This is not everyday makeup look. So first, the contour. So I couldn't use the actual one that was in the Angelina Jolie Maleficent collection at MAC. It was too light. The more I put on, the more I couldn't see it. So I got Blend, which is a matte blush, because I was at a regular store, not a pro store, and the contour that they have is a regular pro product. I'm using a brush like this, and what you're doing is you're putting it, I put it a little too low there, you're putting it right under your cheekbones, and then you're blending it in. And I actually put it up. I'm going to do some of this on a handheld mirror because I can't see it so well there. I'll do a better job. I actually put it up like this. I put a little too much on. But so I'm using Blend. It's a little bit of a darker shade. And I'm putting it up into my temples. If you're super pale, by all means use the contour that they have in the collection. It's really pretty. The MAC store I was at told me that they were recently robbed. Someone came in and robbed a whole bunch of the Maleficent's collection, especially the contour. And they said that MAC's been getting robbed a lot, which is really sad. So what we're doing here is we're just creating that cheekbone by going under the cheekbone. And then I'm also gonna contour my chin. Because we're trying to create those lines, right, the definition. This is a character who definitely has definition in her face shape. So you can make that darker. We'll make it a little darker since this is on camera. And one thing which was really pretty, which I'll show you, if you're going to do a contour like this in the real world, one thing, I was at MAC now and they have the Alluring Aquatics, and I picked up, yes, one more item. I'm not going to do this right now, I might do it later. This is Refined Golden. It's a very shimmery bronzer, and if I apply that on the top of my cheekbones, right in here, it actually looks amazing with the contour, but we're not going to do that right now because we don't want that extra color in our face, so we're not going to do it. So there we've got some contour, and in the Angelina character, and I also would say this about Jared Leto in the Dallas Buyers Club, they have these amazingly deep cheekbones, and what they did for both characters is instead of doing blush, they put the blush, Jared Leto used blush, they put the blush right in that contour. These are gaunt people to begin with, but then they have these amazing cheekbones. They're even more gaunt for these movies, and they gave him just that line right there under the cheekbones. I don't have cheekbones that are that defined, so when I do it, it still works, but not with the same kind of drama. And Angelina Jolie, they actually painted it on in a specific shape right here. There's an actual, like a triangle. And if you're doing it for Halloween, it's like a softened triangle. If you're doing it for Halloween, then you could do it. If you're doing it just to get that contour, I didn't do it. Then I really like this. This is the highlighter, and this is in Bright Forecast, and this is the color that they used for Angelina Jolie, and it looks like this. And what we're doing here is we're applying highlighter. Basically, it's the triangle from your nose to the top of your cheekbone, so it's like that. And I've already got a concealer on. This is just to open up and further define your cheekbone. Okay, so there's that. I'm going to put a little bit more. Perfect. Okay. Now we're going to do the eyes. So I didn't want to pay, I have a MAC Pro cards. I didn't want to pay for the special packaging, so I got the same colors because these are all permanent colors, and that's why they're part of this collection, I guess. These are the ones that they used, and so they just put it in special packaging, but you don't get a pro discount with the MAC version of the Maleficent, but you do on the regular. So the first one I'm going to use is called Concrete. It's a muted taupe brown satin finish, and it's this one right here. Mine are not in the exact order as the, oh yeah they are, I changed them around. So what we're going to do with this one, first we're going to put it on here. And again, this is going to go on a little darker than I like it, just because I want it to show up a little bit more. And so I used a primer. Without the primer, it doesn't go on quite as dark. But I think it's just not as good for a tutorial. So then I take a smaller brush, and one thing I noticed in the movie is that they worked it higher up. Now Angelina Jolie, like me, although I don't look like her, she has a really great amount of space up here, like I do. And they worked it up a lot higher than I would normally have worked it. I usually put stuff in the crease. They put it up above the crease. Right up in there. And this won't be quite as even as on the other side because I'm still not the best doing makeup on camera, even with my little mirror. And so we want it even, so blend a little bit. And then this is also the shade that lines her lower lid, her lower eyelash line. And so we take that, we take it all the way as far in as we can go, and we line. And kind of make it a little bit broader as we get out, and try to get it in here. Then this other brown right there, it's a matte. This is ground brown. It's a deep dirty brown, matte brown. So I'm going to take this little brush again. Actually, I'm not going to take this little brush. What I used was this one, a flat, short. This is worked into the outer part of the eye, and then up into that upper crease area. So this really warms up her eyes in the movie. What I kept staring at that and the lips was how they had this warmer brown. And you can work it up here, or you can just keep it more out in the outer part. It looks pretty either way. And then into the outer corner. And the browns kind of blend, shockingly, since one is warm and one is cool. They really blend quite well together. And then I've worked a little bit down into the lower lash. And then took a slanted brush and I dipped it in both of these. When I did the warm brown first, I got way too much of that, so I've learned to do the other one first, and then just brush your eyebrows into whatever villain shape you want. And take this all the way down, just to give it a little color. I didn't do enough on that side. To give you that. If I were wearing this in the real world as a softened look, I would not do this. I think it's really, really defining and pretty for a villain. I think it's a little much for daily life. Now comes the hard part. So, well, not the hard part yet, but almost. So I'm taking Perversion from Urban Decay, and I am lining, and this is where I think it gets too black in real life. In a movie, you don't want to see any of that skin color when the camera comes in close. And so what I've been doing, I think I would change. So you want to make sure you go all the way. I'm not going to be able to do it on camera. You want to make sure you go all the way around the eye. Now what I had been doing, I guess I'm wrong, I should do it, is you want to make sure that you get both the lower and the upper waterline. And you don't have to use Perversion. You want to use any kind of a matte black. I'm not going to do it perfectly because my camera will cause problems at some point. Okay, and then I have a black eyeliner somewhere. Right there. I have just a Kat Von D, but you can use anyone. Now here, the point is not to get it super black. This is not like a winged out look. This is just basically black right at the lash line. And this is where I feel like I always put too much black. So you just want to put it a very thin line. You want to go all the way to the edge and then go down just part way because her lower lash line is not ringed in black in the movie. It's ringed in that beautiful taupe brown. Now I take a small little brush like this, and I take the Carbon, which is a matte black, which is the last color, and I blend that in to soften it. Because again, she does not have a hard black line at all in the movie. And where I really mess up is right in this corner. I have watery eyes, so right in this corner I start watering, and I have to make sure I'm really careful to get that black right in that corner, and then also down in here all the way. And now I take, I'm actually using the same brush, I'm going to take a little bit more of the taupe and blend that in so that you're getting the taupe, not just the black. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the Carbon and just dot it right into the outer crease area. So you get a little bit more darkness. And you don't have to do that, I just like it better that way. And then the key here is just blending it all in. So you can see I blended that one a little bit more. This one I think I did better on the black, less black. Now I'm going to do mascara. Get the bottom. This is just my favorite recent Manga, Manga from Loreal, which I love. It just gives almost a false eyelash look, and we'll do false eyelashes last. I just think this one builds up really fast on camera, which is why I picked it. And does give kind of a false eyelash look. I would blend my little blacks better here. I think they need to be blended. You see that one's blended more. And then where she did occasionally, they did this gold, so this was the Carbon. They did this gold only part of the movie. I noticed it sometimes right up in here. So I'll just do it on this side. And it was only in some of the scenes. You get to see it as she moved her head. Just blending it right up there. I actually prefer the look without it, but essentially when she wasn't that character with that head thing on, she didn't have all this much black on her eyes. That was the big difference. Now we're going to do the lips. So I really love the lip colors, the reds, in this particular collection. These were created by Rick Baker specifically for the character, and this is the liner, Kiss Me Quick. I really needed the liner for some reason with the red lipstick. I did not get the lip gloss. In the movie, she has these slightly shiny red lips. With the reds, I find it hard to define the top line without a liner, and then also you have to be careful to get inside, to dry your lips off first and get inside. Like there. And there. I don't know, that's not pretty on camera even. The reason to do that is just with a color like this, it's really going to show that area as light pink or whatever color your lips are if you don't do that. And then I have True Love's Kiss. I'm going to do another video, or try to do another video, where I come up with dupes for this, but I was in Sephora right before I was in MAC and walked in with some reds on my wrist, and the closest I saw, without trying every red in Sephora, this is just random, was Scarlet by Dolce & Gabbana, the regular cream. So this is the lipstick. It almost has like a slight pink to it, which always looks, doesn't always look better on me. It's one of the ones that looks better on me. You can see I didn't put enough there. So you can see that's exactly what I talk about. You can see my natural lip color. This, by the way, is a slightly different color than the pencil for this collection. This is a little bit shinier, less matte. Slightly less of a pure red. Okay, so there's the basic look, and then I'm just going to really quickly put the eyelashes on. And I think that's it. There's one other thing I was going to show first, because I'm going to cut out part of the eyelashes. So this is the basic look, and you can see I did a little bit blacker on this side, a little bit blacker on this side. The one thing to really watch for is not to make it too black, and I still haven't worked that out perfectly. But I'm going to take this, and I like putting just a tiny bit on top of the cheekbones. I think it looks better, but I don't think it's classic to what the movie look is like. Now I'm going to do the eyelashes, and I think that's it. Anyone who has comments, I will take my hair down so you can see a little bit more without that. Comments, questions, I would love to hear them. And they did have eyelashes for the collection. The ones I saw though were the ones you put on like one at a time, and I just can't do that. First of all, I don't have the patience. Next of all, I just don't think that I'm that good at it. The person at MAC was using eyelashes on someone, and they were actually putting carbon right here before they put them on. I'm not going to do that for the video, to get that kind of natural black. Okay, you should always check your props, and this is not going to work because my glue is dried up. So we're not going to stick these on, we're just going to show you what they would look like if they would have the glue. Nope, it's not going to work. Yeah. So that's the look. I would soften it a little bit, blend a little bit more, and you'll get it a little bit closer to the way she has it. But you wouldn't be able to see it as much when I did the tutorial. So there we go, that's it. Thanks. I wanted to add one quick thing. I did a quick blend of kind of the rough edges, just because it's hard to see as you're doing the video what you're blending right, and you can see it looks a lot better already. It's just a question of how much black, and if I were to do one thing differently, I would put a little bit more of that taupe under the eyes. That's it. Thanks.